I will be speaking to you today about different audience engagement strategies, and I hope I will provide you with hands-on guide how to build successful strategies for your film projects. First, I would like to say a few words about the company. It's an international film marketing company based in Warsaw, Berlin, and London. We are working with film producers, with distributors, with sales agents, but also with institutions like European Film Academy. And a little bit about myself. I come from independent. I was working for Vita Studio and Vita School in Warsaw. For the past 10 years, I was working for young debutant talent and helping them to start their film career. I was handling 2 Oscar campaigns for Oscar-nominated short documentaries. Last year it was for Joanna, maybe you've heard about this documentary. And now I'm head of Art of Entrepreneurship. So I will start with the context about the film marketing nowadays, then we will move to audience design motion, and I will take you to case studies. Right. So, traditional film marketing used to look like this. That the film was launched at the moment of the release at one of the film festivals or theatrical release. The whole focus of the film promotion was around this particular moment, which also leads to the late release theatrically. What has changed right now, when in the era of the digital age, and also because of the growing amounts of great titles and more films produced, film market faces a situation where you need to start to think about promoting your film at the very, very, very early stage of film development, and social media actually allows you to do that because you have different tools that you can use. You have advertising, you have social media, you have crowdfunding, you can do outreach. It's not anymore about giving one-way direction of the communication. It's also about taking the information from your audience, engaging them, inspire them, enhancing the experience. And this is this change in the market, what is seen by some new words, new notions that describe it. Creative Europe called it audience engagement. Torino Film Lab, which I'm working for as well as an international workshop, recently created a brand called Audience Design, which actually raises the awareness about need for the strategic approach to film promotion nowadays, especially for independent and art house filmmakers. So what is the audience design part? So audience design is the process of creating audience awarenesses, engagement strategies, and building communities around films at every stage of development through an open, playful, and multi-angle approach. So actually, in short, audience design is a mindset. It's like totally different kind of thinking about your product or this film from the very, very, very early stage of development, which means at the stage when you are actually creating the idea or you are just writing the first draft. So there are 3 imperatives I would identify here for audience design. First is great storytelling, and audience design uses storytelling as a driving force to strategically approach different audiences, because you will face different audiences throughout all the phases that leads to the film distribution. Second imperative is that you need to know your audience. This is what already Anastasia was telling about, and it also, of course, applies to the film world, that you need to know who they are, you need to know where they are, you need to know what they like, they need to know their media diet. And what is important here that knowing your audience is a constant process of discovery at each stage, again, at each stage of film production. Third imperative is your goal is to inspire engagement, of course, and to enhance the experience that your audience will have. And what does it mean, this engagement? It means some valuable actions from your audience, like sharing the information about the film, remembering the film message, taking an action, depending what your film is about. Who are the target audiences? But of course, there is rarely one audience for the film. Every film is different, and every film will have different audience appeal. There is this tendency that Anastasia also said, talk about it, that you can say that, well, this film is for general public. But this such a broad focus really rarely succeeds. You need to be much more specific. Like, this is a film for fans of B-horror movies from the 70s, or for the fans of mature comic books, for example. You need to know who your film will appeal to. You need to know the size of this audience. Also, Anastasia talked about it. And you need to also know how you can reach these audiences. That each audience is very often comprised of a number of different groups, and the more groups you can specifically target, the better. So, for example, you have the film 8 Mile about the ending and issue of life. So, one audience will be 35 male semi-urban average income. But the other groups, the other audience that you can specify, will be, first of all, fans of anime, then fans of music, fans, people that are interested in street art, people that follow film about guns, this kind of so this is how you think about different contexts, different angles of the film, and then how you think about how to identify and how to reach the audiences. This is a very, very basic thing you need to think about. Primary target and secondary target, and how do you identify primary target? This is a very basic thing. Demographics, like age, gender, education, income, and then you identify secondary targets, which are much more larger groups. Like in this 8 Mile example, these were fans of music, for example, and then also market niches. This is people interested in street art or in gun-related films. This is how we look more graphically. So primary target, which is the core one, and then around it we build secondary target, which are different, and they are not in one place. This is the example of research that was conducted recently in Europe. Maybe some of you are familiar with this research. So the research identified 5 main groups of European film viewers. So the first one is hyper-connected movie addicts, male and adults digital natives, heavy viewers of media and film, equipped with digital devices, living in urban areas, primarily target audience for European films. The second one is Rush independent movie selectives, females and young adults, 26, 50 years old, working, married, average income, interested in European films. These two first groups will be, for most of the cases, your audiences, your primary audiences. Then you have mainstream blockbuster lovers, males and females, less urban areas, average digital equipment, average income, interest in US films. Then occasional hit raisers, young, semi-urban, studying, primarily women, interested in European films. And the last one is movie indifference, young or older men, less educated, poorer, living in rural and semi-urban areas, rarely equipped with media devices. It doesn't mean that, for example, doesn't mean that occasional hit raisers and movie indifference are impossible to reach. They are possible to reach, but you just need to find an angle which will be interested for them, and how to attract them to the topic, to the subject from your film. The questions you need to ask yourself: are you in a position to reach your target audience directly? And can you reach primary and secondary audience, and how? And to answer these questions, it's crucial to know how each of the particular audiences that you identify actually learns about films. And once you know that, you target the source. That could be social media, it could be television, it could be radio, it could be influencers like bloggers or YouTubers nowadays. It could be also traditional media, whatever works. I want to talk to you about some examples of categories of engagement. So online, of course, you have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr. You just need to think what kind of film you have and what would be suitable for each of the particular social media platform. You go to Instagram if you have a very strong visuals. You go on Twitter if there is a very specific topic that you want to talk about. You go on Facebook when you are having much more mainstream audience and you have a lot of research. It's good to launch the ad campaign on Facebook. And also, since I'm talking about the ads, it's a very nice tool on social media to create paid ads campaign, especially on Facebook, and through this to identify where your audience is and how big is your audience. Have you ever tried to have you ever made set up an ad campaign on Facebook? Have you ever done that? It's very easy. You can try to do a fake one, which really indicates first of all, how big your audience is, and then you can follow this information and check what these people are talking about, when they talk about it, what are the things that are most appealing to them. And social media is not only about opening accounts because this is what everybody else is doing. Because it's a very common thing that you open an account and then you just leave it to die. And this doesn't work. When you are talking about social media, it's about engaging the audiences through many months of different debates, discussions, competitions, whatever it will be, you will find useful for this for the campaign. So it's very important to realize that it's a long-term challenge to be online with the film. Educational. This is also what Anastasia talked about, that it's, especially if you are a young filmmaker, independent producer with a smaller budget, it's always good to build a partnership with some of the NGOs, health organizations, universities, institutes. This is just what will help to bring visibility to your film, and also create some additional events or actions around your film. And this is just how you broaden the audience, and this is also how you build the ambassadors for the film. Community engagement is more traditional thing that whenever there is a public space that enables a forum discussion around the topic of your film, this is what this means. It also leads to this face-to-face presence at all the screening and Q&As, but this is quite challenging to do all this, and also not being burned out. But it's really useful, and it really built a very substantial and direct relationship with the audience. And this is also how you also can find the ambassadors, future ambassadors for your film projects, not only the current one, but also the next ones. This is, when it comes to audio design, your imagination is the limit. Whatever works best. When you're thinking about audio design basic elements, you need to have your strategy. I will go back to it after the next slide. You need to know your budget. Sometimes it's very small, and then you just go and just 2 accounts or Facebook and then Twitter, and that's it. Sometimes you can do much more. Sometimes you don't have to really. You don't need money, but you rather need people to work, and this is the next thing. Who will do the work? Because when social media and the audio design is a long-term dedication to the film campaign, then you really need to have people who will do that, or it will be one person, or you can divide out within your film crew. It's up to you, but you need to know who will do this. So when you are thinking about the strategy, first you think about main topics and subjects, which is the main asset of your film. Visuals. I said the question about the goal, but separately to the director and the producer. And it's very important that you really answer this separately, because sometimes these are not the same goals, which will actually be very important for the campaign you're taking, because you need to have some priorities. And the goals can be different. It can be building the director's career, that can be boosting the film, that can be to educate, to change the world, raising awareness about some issue, depends on the subject. Then you are thinking about audience, and which will ideally would be if you can draw a persona portrait, which is a detailed portrait of a person that represents a certain audience. So you think about not only about age, about economic status, family status, but also about media diet, also about values, also about daily habits, and what's really important for us as filmmakers, about how the people consume the films and how do they learn about it. Now you just need to design as precisely as possible the person, because then you can track how to reach and in which moment this will be the best to reach this particular person that represents a broader audience. Then ideas. So key motivation, of course, ideas comes from the goals you identified before. Then how they can be applied to the target audiences, and who are the target audiences, and what are the channels that you will reach these audiences. And the last thing is timeline, user journey. Are you familiar with this? So this is exactly about imagining the how you reach the people with different message, and when is it? Through the whole phase that leads to the distribution again. So from the early development to the theatrical release. And design your strategy around principles. And I think the most important that you should remember that the aim is to enhance the experience of knowing the film, seeing it, spreading the information about it, and let the people co-create with you, because this is the digital age we are living in. It's not about one-way communication, it's both ways, so it's interaction. And then listen, measure at each stage you do it, because, well, there can be new trends coming and you can miss that. But also react, which means, well, you have to be in direct dialogue with your audiences. So if they are sending any question on the Facebook, you better be there and answer this. And always respect the integrity of the story. So audience design is not about inventing a new story attached to your main film. It follows it, but it just uses different, sometimes not obvious ways to reach various audiences. And these are the 4 maxims for audience engagement. So never underestimate audience's lack of interest in what you have to say. For you, for sure. But then think about this 35 women with 3 kids, which really have chance to go to the cinemas and watch your film, and which really have time, energy. What would we bring her if she really find somebody to take care of her children? What will trigger her to come to the cinema? And what will also push her to spread the information about your film? Always leave audience wanting more, and try to have feelings and information. This is the very broader feature of the audience, and now I would like to move into the case studies. I will present you 2 feature films. One is the fiction, the other one is the documentary we've been recently working on as a band. So something with Tuscan. This is a Danish-Polish documentary that came from the Hanna Polak, is an Oscar-nominated Polish director, and it's about 10 years old Yula that was born at the garbage at the premises of Moscow, the biggest dump in Europe. And we follow her during 14 years, and we see how she achieved to escape and to start a new and normal life with her family in a flat. And so we were assigned to this project at the moment when it had a very good festival career here in Europe. And when the director had the ambition that she would like to go for Oscars. And when you have a feature film, you definitely need a US agency that is promoting your film there. But mostly what they do, these agencies, they are mostly lobbying. So they won't not care about the whole campaign around, unless you have a really substantial budget for that. So what we can do, you can do something on your own, and they thought that maybe social media. Right, so as I said, the film had a wonderful festival career in Europe, and now the marketing objectives, and as we were approached by the film team, was to support the Oscar campaign in the US and create a buzz around the film in the US as well. One of the main challenge for us working on the film was that even though European industry and people heard about the film, some of them saw it, at the same time in the US nobody heard about the film. So it was a very not an easy start for Russian-speaking European documentary that would like to compete for Oscars at the moment. So we started with this SWOT analysis. So the strengths were that it was shot over 14 years. It was a very powerful and appealing topic. Homeless child, the biggest dump in Europe, and the happy ending. And we have a very active filmmaker behind it, Hanna Polak, which is a renowned documentary filmmaker. On the other hand, on the weakness side, we have slow writing, so sometimes people are not used to it. Then we have very moderate festival career in the United States and North America, and we have a very limited budget for the campaign, because actually everything was put to the US agency. For the strength, we had previous Oscar nomination for the director. We had prestigious festivals, selections and awards in Europe. We had female director, which is very important nowadays, as much as the female characters, when you observe the strength of focus on female filmmakers and characters and female stories. This is a growing trend nowadays. And we also thought that opportunities and interest for footage in the media. On the weak side, we had huge competition at the time from the big American titles like Emmy, The Book of Silence, also supported by HBO, so there was like quite a substantial competition there already. And that the film was not actually seen at all in the US so far. So we thought that first of all, what we need to do, we need to create the awareness about the film itself, but without any screenings in the US, how to do that. So we thought about crowdfunding campaign. Well, this is so you probably know that this is a huge job. And it requires a really long preparation, because once you launch a crowdfunding campaign, you only have a very limited time, like 30 days, for example. It depends on platforms, but let's say 30 days, and you really can achieve your goal. For us, the goal was, the real goal was to raise awareness of the film. But we put it as an official goal that we want to support, to get the support for the Oscar campaign in the US. And so everything was designed around this crowdfunding campaign. So we prepared 3 press releases over 6 weeks, because we had 6 weeks of campaign. And each of the press releases touched different subjects. So we identified 3 main topics that we can talk about. First of all, documentary film work. Because Hanna Polak is a recognized, established director with a great track record, Oscar nominated. It's a very powerful documentary with good festival in Europe. Then we also, the second topic was Russia, and the politics around Putin. And the third topic was female director with female stories. What we did also, we created a Twitter account, because this is what really is important in the States. Everybody it's not that usual here in common in Europe, but in the States everybody are on Twitter, and especially when it comes to the film industry. And we also started the campaign on Facebook account.
Talking about the target audience, well, primarily this is male, female, 30-70%, between 40-55 years, high-level education, lower secondary. There were feminists, people interested in Russia, people interested in politics, people interested in human rights, film professionals, and students. We came with this positioning statement for the crowdfunding campaign. Do you know this positioning? It's not actually the film logline or short synopsis. It's an inner tool that helps you to identify three hooks, so three main assets that you would like to communicate to your audience. And there can be, as Anastasia said, different positioning when it comes to different audiences. Well, I will just give you an example of this one positioning statement. So, by Oscar-nominated director Hanna Polak, a striking film about a bear growing in a dam in Putin's Russia, shot over 14 years. So we want to talk about we want to highlight the Oscar track. We wanted to highlight that the film was shot during 40 years. We wanted to highlight Putin's politics against a girl, a child that grows in a dam in Russia. So this is some. I want just to show you some of the examples of the elements of our social media campaign. So this is one of the top tweets we had. You can see that it earned more than 3,500 impressions. I would love to change my mind, get out of this dam. I wouldn't miss anything here. But this is a top mention we had thanks to Chase Whale. He's a renowned film critic in the US that he just posted, and that was wonderful what he did. That the Academy, please ensure all voters see that. That was wonderful. We also achieved to have some press coverage, and what was striking for us that the media which was most interested in the film came from this female angle. So this is one of the great review of the film we had. This is the exclusive interview that Hanna Polak gave to one of the websites. And the results were that, well, the film didn't get shortlisted last year, but at least it got nominated for the Producers Guild of America, which is a very prestigious award, and we hope we somehow have that. Number of fans on social media increased significantly. Please remember it's a very short time that we did the campaign. Press coverage, we had 11 articles, 110 tweets, and 20 Facebook mentions. And then North American Buzz was used by Polish distributor at the moment when they released the film in Poland. And all this is to show you that sometimes it's just a matter of creative thinking. Well, maybe crowdfunding is not that creative, but still it was the only issue to launch the press of the film at the time in the US during a very, very short time. Everybody were quite satisfied with the results. And I now would like to move to the next case study, and it's a a debutant Polish director. It's a German-Polish co-production in Mongolian language and shot in Mongolia as well. That was selected to Berlinale this year. And at the moment of the selection, the film team approached us. It's very late, but sometimes we work with this too. So for us, the marketing objectives at the time that we were approached, or a month before premiere, was to raise awareness about the film and the director among the industry and festivals, because that's what the film crew counted on. The father festival career for the film, both in fiction and documentary sections, because as you could see, maybe felt that it has a documentary touch, although it's fiction. And the other objective was that I already mentioned, position the film as non-kids art house film. The film had stunning visuals. It comes from Mongolia, and we had a family, like a real family, that played in the film. On the other hand, we had non-famous director, a debutant. We had undefined genre between fiction and documentary. It can be an advantage, and it can be also a problem. And we had unclear pattern, what is suit. And then opportunities. We had a great launch at Berlinale. It's a great place for the launch of the film. We had this possibility of fitting to different festival sections as a documentary or fiction. And we have Polish-German co-production. Co-productions is always an opportunity because it's always brought in your audience already. And then on the thread side we have Generation, so being labeled as a film for kids. And we knew that this would be probably mostly a film festival, but we wanted to somehow overcome this threat. So this is very simple. Simple thing. But strength and weaknesses, this is internal. This is what comes from the film itself, this is what comes from the crew. And opportunities and threats, this is something what is external. This is something what you can't control. Strength and weaknesses, you still can control. Opportunities, threats, no. And there's another very useful tool which is called pose. Have you ever heard of it? So it's a great exercise of doing the reverse of SWOT, pose, SWOT. So you actually think how to overcome your threats with your strengths, and how to use the opportunities to overcome your weaknesses. So what we did, we created a poster and a press kit. So this is more traditional marketing. We did social media management for during two months. We did the whole Berlinale premiere coverage. We did also media coverage in Poland, and then we did outreach. Targeted audiences. Well, primary is not something that is unusual. The secondary developers, kids, schools, people with link to Mongolia, travelers, horse riding fans, quite a substantial group, especially in social media, and film professionals, of course. Positioning statement was a window into the world of the director Marta Minorowicz and her festival hit film Zut, a poetic and visually beautiful journey through the steppes of Mongolia. So with this positioning, we overlapped the strength of the film and also the goals we had. This is the poster we came with. So this is the examples of the post we did on Facebook. The challenge was that all of the film was beautifully in terms of visual actually very difficult to have, and it's first of all, it's very common that you have beautiful film and then you have no stills. So please remember, during the production, think about one person who will take professional stills from the film. And also, we didn't have much dialogue in the film that we could use as a quote. And we had a very unknown director, but we couldn't really, and we wanted to start a career for her, like establish her as an author, as an artist. So we talked to her. Well, what inspired you? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? The Mongolia? What is the main force that drives you there? So, and she answered that actually, you know, I was reading a lot of poems and haiku. So we thought, okay, that's actually very good with the Mongolian steppes and this poetic side of the film. So first we used some quotes from her that are, well, I would say poetic. The space there is actually when you can't escape from it. That's really, I think it's really nice. And then we also found some of the haikus or short poems that specifically talk about steppes in Mongolia. And we combined them with beautiful images. I told you already about the horse riding society on social media, so we wanted to be in touch with them as well and to somehow to engage them. So we used this kind of information on Mongolian horse. After one Q&A, the main actor, the boy, sang the song, and it was such a touching moment, and he sang so beautifully, and we sang, well, fortunately we recorded it, and then we put it on social media, and it, you know, you can see it had more than 1,000 views and 11 shares, so it's quite substantial for a small film with a child playing the main role. So this is about how the small things sometimes can boost your presence. So the results, the number of fans on social media increased significantly. So between we are still talking between January and February. Then the post reach increased, and that was the most significant data for us, that between December and January, December we had 7,000 post reach, and in February we had 53,000, so it's really something significant here. And the film got selected in numerous festivals, fiction and documentaries, and then we had a nice press coverage in Poland, which is not also that common because it's a small film. Generation section is not something, and at the time Poland has a film in the main competition, so everybody was focused more on this, but still we achieved to attract the media awareness about this small film, which will be now used for launching the film in Poland in theaters. So if you have any questions, please feel free, please visit our website. Thank you very much.